Hi, welcome back. It's Auntie Liz, your internet auntie, here to encourage you and guide you towards more positive self-talk through the use of affirmations. Today's affirmation is "My voice matters. I speak my truth with confidence." Before we get into that, real quick, I just want to say thank you to all of you who tuned in to the first episode, whether on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Music. I really appreciate it. I'm still getting the visual aspect of the video podcast together. As you can see, I have a different background today. I did work on that a little bit, but I'm still working on the lighting situation. And that may come down to getting a new camera or video camera. I have to look into that a little more, but as I continue to gain support, I will be able to get better equipment and continue this. However, as I said in the first episode, the content is really the most important thing to me. The audio side of things and the ability for everyone to have a clear listening experience is what's most important to me. So, anyway, back to the episode. This week's podcast and last week's podcast kind of go hand in hand. Really, probably most of the podcasts will go together in some way or another, because really we're just trying to build confidence and more positive self-talk within our brains. This week's affirmation and last week's affirmation really go hand in hand and really speak to the whole purpose of this podcast and starting this podcast to begin with. Last week's affirmation was, "I deserve to speak kindly to myself." This week's affirmation is, "My voice matters. I speak my truth with confidence." Both have to do with using our voice. You will unlock so much about yourself and the world around you when you learn to use your voice appropriately, positively, confidently, all of those things. A big part of the reason for starting this podcast had to do with me finding my voice, speaking up to myself, speaking up to those around me, becoming more confident in who I am and what I believe in. And that's really what today's affirmation is. Last week's affirmation really had to do with speaking up to yourself, speaking up to the negative thoughts that pop into your head about how you feel about yourself or situations, and combating those by saying, "I deserve to speak kindly to myself." This week's affirmation really has to do more with speaking up to those around you, and not just when it's a negative situation, but just using your voice, even when it's not the most important thing to be discussed, even when it's not combative, or even when it's not argumentative. Using your voice because you deserve to be heard. I think all of us have been there at some point or another where we're nervous or we're feeling shy or we're just a little uncomfortable in a situation. I think that is a very normal experience. But if you don't grab a hold of that and use your voice or push past it and speak anyway, those uncomfortable feelings gain power and turn into fear. They turn into social anxiety, where it is more chronic. So this affirmation really can give you power back, help keep that fear from really developing and becoming something that you feel you can't control. Like I said, it's not always about something negative or combative or argumentative. It's about putting yourself out there and just starting a conversation with someone, or saying, "Hey, you look great today," or "Hey, I'm really happy you're here." Speaking how you feel in a moment. Speak your truth confidently. I used to really struggle with this. And honestly, I still do. I still have that bit of social anxiety, but I've really started to normalize that in my brain and try to push past it. Allow myself to get in those uncomfortable situations, not run away from them, and just speak. Not be so afraid of what might come out, but just speak. My thoughts and my feelings are valid. My thoughts, no matter how silly or random or unsolicited they may be, they matter. They're important. I spent so much of my life craving connection, true conversation, true, dare I say, love and being liked as a person. But I was so afraid to use my voice. I was so afraid to speak. No matter what I was saying, I got around people, and unless I really knew someone there, it was obvious that I was uncomfortable, and I essentially just became mute. I was obviously afraid. By not pushing past that, by listening to that fear that my voice didn't matter, all of these people are having conversations around me. They're fine. They don't need to hear what I have to say. I can just listen. I can observe. That's enough. That thought process kept me away from connection. It kept me from really developing fulfilling friendships and getting to know other people, and even more so, letting other people get to know me. Because by sitting back and observing, I got to know other people, but I didn't learn how that could apply to me and how we could get along. And I definitely wasn't letting people in. Ironically, something that kind of led me down the path of using my voice was this personality test that I took for a job a few years back. I had already been in the position for a while, but our boss wanted us to take this personality test and learn how we fall into different roles, how we work with other people, what leadership looks like from our standpoint, etc., etc. Anyway, my personality test came back as me having a loud voice. This was such an interesting result for me. It was not expected. I really saw myself. I don't know if other people saw me this way, but I really saw myself as somebody who was shy, quiet, timid, did what they're told, followed directions, hard worker, rule follower, all of those things. I had been maybe told in relationships that I was argumentative, but that was because I was comfortable, I guess, being myself with them. Anywho, loud voice meant that I have strong opinions and I have the ability to speak them confidently. I have the ability to sway people's opinions by my presentation of my thoughts. I have a loud voice, not literally loud, not quiet or loud. I have a loud voice, meaning I have power behind my words and my thoughts. So this was an interesting find for me because I really didn't give my own power to my thoughts. And it really brought me to think about what that looks like, and even further, how I've held myself back. If I have a loud voice, why was I not using it? Why wouldn't I use it for whatever I want to do? To me, not to toot my own horn or blow my ego up, because that's not what this is about. It was really a confidence boost for me and a compliment to my intelligence. Each of you have the power to have a loud voice too. I don't think that it's necessarily something that's put in my genes or just only for me or only for a certain type of people. I think everyone has the ability to have a loud voice in their own way, especially when you feel passionately about things. Everyone deserves to be heard. Everyone deserves to use their voice and be heard. That just takes practice. This personality test that I took behind the comfort of my own computer, revealing who I really am inside, unlocked that affirmation for me. My voice matters. So, digging into this a little bit deeper on how you might be able to apply it, let's talk about other relationships with friends and family. Your voice and how confidently you speak will set the tone for whether or not you demand their respect in listening. Speak confidently, speak firmly, say what you mean, and then give them the opportunity to respond. By not speaking confidently and not really saying what you want, you give them the opportunity to say, oh, well, this must not be that important. And granted, not every situation is going to be the most important, and that's okay. But more often than not, you should speak confidently. You can still speak confidently and allow someone else to get their way. Speaking confidently isn't saying my way or the highway. Speaking confidently is, I believe in what I am saying, and I believe in what I want. And I want you to believe that too. I want you to believe in me and what I want and my feelings and my thoughts, and also see that they're valuable because I see that they're valuable. People, like I said, have said that I can be argumentative, but I don't ever intend to be argumentative. I just speak confidently. I speak what I want, and then the ball is in your court. If you don't also speak confidently, I don't know that you have an opinion about it. If you just back off and shut down, then that tells me it's not an important matter to you. But I will still speak confidently, and I will still say what I mean, because I want to give you the chance, and I want to also encourage you to be confident in speaking how you feel and your thoughts on the matter. What I give is what I want to be returned. That's conversation. Nobody is a mind reader. I really believe wholeheartedly in shooting your shot in any situation, really, no matter how little, big, small, grandiose, whatever. I believe in shooting your shot. At the very least, you can open the door for conversation. And through conversation, we gain connection. Through conversation, we get to know each other a little better. Also, at the very least, you don't have to relive the coulda, woulda, shoulda situations in your head. I think we've all been there as well, where we have conversations with people and we hold back. You know, there's a time for listening and a time for speaking, of course, but when you really feel a certain way, after they're done talking, after you're done listening, you should be welcome to speak your thoughts as well. I hate going back and thinking, I should have said this. I should have just said what I was really thinking and not held back. My voice matters. I speak my truth with confidence. I want to practice that more often than not. I don't want to be thinking I could have done more, I could have said more. I always want to leave a situation knowing that I did my best, I did my part to create or maintain a relationship. On the creating side of relationships, you see someone that you think you may get along with. Don't be timid, don't be shy, just go say something. It doesn't matter what. Start the conversation. Put the ball in their court. At that point, you've gotten it off your chest. You can breathe. That's the hard part. Relieve yourself of the stress that I could have done more. I could have talked to them. I could have made more friends. If connection is something you truly crave, you have to believe in your own voice. You have to believe in what you say and believe that what you say really matters. Even further from relationships with other people, believing my voice matters impacts my relationship with myself. Believing your voice matters will impact your relationship with yourself. By letting yourself be known, you will get to know yourself better. By speaking your opinions or thoughts on things, you will form new opinions because you will be engaged in conversation, or you will become more firm in your opinions because, again, you've engaged in conversation. My voice matters opens the door for conversations. By bouncing your thoughts and feelings off of other people, you can get feedback and get more clear on your thoughts and feelings about things. Not because you let the opinions of other people take over, but by allowing them to listen to you, you realize, I can be listened to. I should also listen to myself. By believing your voice matters, you will practice conversation more often. You will practice standing up for yourself more often. And by practicing these things, by practicing this affirmation, you will become more confident in yourself. You'll become more confident in your voice, and it will get easier and easier. I also want to touch back on the last episode where I made the connection to the affirmation by saying, like someone I love and care about. This will likely be something that I keep saying because for me, at least, it really helps me step outside of myself and my feelings and my ego and think about the affirmation from another light. So let's think about this affirmation in that way. When someone you love or care about speaks to you, you want them to know their voice matters, right? You want them to speak confidently. You want them to know their voice is heard and respected, and you want them to speak their truth. When I've hurt someone's feelings, I want to know. I want them to speak their truth confidently. Their voice matters. In the same way, when someone has hurt your feelings, your voice matters. You deserve to speak confidently and let them know. Open the door for the conversation. That's how stronger relationships are formed. It opens up the door for an opportunity to repair those hurt feelings. On a lighter note, let's think about going out to eat with someone. Where do you want to eat? Oh, I don't know. Where do you want to eat? Now, sometimes we may really not know where we want to eat, but we're not talking about that right now. There's always somewhere you can pick. There's always something in the back of your mind that you say, yes, I know I like that. So when you really can't think of where you want to eat, you can fall back on that. Your voice matters. Say somewhere that you want to eat. Or if they suggest something that you really don't want to eat, your voice matters. Speak your truth with confidence. Say, hey, I'm really not feeling that. Say, hey, that upset my stomach last time. Or, hey, I just don't want to go there. That's okay too. Your voice matters. Open the door for conversation in resolution and finding where you want to eat. In friendships, especially in friend groups, we've all seen where someone is not included or not invited and their feelings are hurt. And that is totally understandable. This is so important in friendships, in knowing that your voice matters and you need to speak your truth with confidence. You need to speak your truth with kindness and understanding and compassion, but you do need to speak your truth because your voice matters. If you want to be included or invited more often, you may need to speak up. You may also need to speak up and be the one to plan things or make plans with a specific person. Your voice matters. If you just want to have a conversation with somebody, you should do that. If you want to spend more time with somebody, say that. Use your voices. Set your boundaries. You deserve to be heard. Say what you feel. Say what you think. At the end of the day, using your voice honors yourself, your intelligence, and your importance to this life. You are good, you are kind, and you matter. Aunt Liz loves you. Bye.